Hi everyone, let's continue. A very important paper has been already published on comparing results from CVSEM and PLS-SEM, five perspectives and five recommendations. This paper has been written by Edward, Professor Marco, and Professor Ringel. And this paper is already published in this particular journal, Journal of Research and Management, Marketing, Journal of Research and Management in 2017. And I would suggest everybody should follow this paper because a clear distinction between CVSEM and PLS-SEM, where is on the basis of the five perspectives, they have distinguished both these processes. So CVSEM and PLS-SEM basically difference in philosophy of science and different expectations about the research situations. Now we will go through this paper. Now you can see all these publications focus of this study related to CVSEM and PLS-SEM for model development, etc. Year-wise conceptual comparison of CVSEM and PLS-SEM. So you can go through these papers also, as well as once we will move down. So now you can see five perspectives. First perspective is different estimators. So from one perspective, CVSEM and PLS-SEM should yield the same results because they are viewed as two methods intended to accomplish the same statistical end. So estimate a series of structure equations that is represent causal process, right? As well as can be model pictorially, as well as to enable a clear conceptualization of the theory under study. Right. So there are the n number of things, those you can see here. This one is the first perspective is different estimators. And then we move to the second perspective is different models. So basically, one should not expect the same result from CVSEM and PLS-SEM because the statistical model are not equivalent, even though Haman Wold adopted the verbal and even the graphical representation of factor analysis for his composite based alternative. And when we come to the next perspective, now you can see this one is the same phenomena. And according to this perspective, CVSEM and PLS-SEM, we are expecting the similar result. So, because both the methods are tapping the same real world phenomena, unobservable conceptual variables like quality, customer satisfaction, loyalty in marketing. So, in this paper, we can say broad approaches to philosophy of science, even individual approaches, are far from monolithic and more like movement than individual positions. We are talking about one particular this paper. Next, we come to the perspective. This one is the four. This one is the imperfect word. So, imperfect word means we are talking about we can acknowledge the practical problems that come from applying statistical method in actual research situation at the time of when we are running our data in these softwares. So here is similar results from CVSEM and PLSM because even though they ultimately address the same phenomena, the methods are typically applied in some optimal situations where different approaches fall short for different reasons within the realm of CVSEM. For example, maximum likelihood estimation, generalized least square estimation are a right, this one is we can say, the only reality in the statistical reality. So we cannot say whatever the kind of problem you can face. Then we come to now you can see this is the perspective four, right? And maybe due to the small sample size, results variation is there, right? And a few indicators due to this also may be possible. There would be variation, ex post modification also, right? Next, we come to the best part of this paper, five recommendations, and five. Sorry, perspective five was also the long view. So fifth and final perspective is that CVSEM and PLSM methods should coverage on the same answers about relation between unobserved conceptual variables and observed variables. So if both type of the methods are applied under favorable conditions, the later may be include large samples, many indicators per measurement model. And further, five recommendation. So basically, what are these five recommendations? You have to just go through this. See what could be the first recommendation, and second recommendation. Now you could be able to see that is the also inspired by the UL, and it is put the other design aspects of the research back on the table. So researcher can rec a project well before the statistical analysis, but in research reports employing SAM, too often the data seem to be taken as given as if handed down on tablets. So means that is a good recommendation, and that would be there is you can see third recommendation also. So, third recommendation, and after that, we will move to the fourth and fifth recommendation. So, I hope concluded finally, we can say in the conclusion what the author has written. It is important to underline our first two recommendations. We believe that quality data lead to quality inference and that no statistical method turns bad data into the good data. So we are also concerned that unlimited recommendations of PLS-SEM, which one would easily expect given our publication track record in the field, will be misunderstood. So often enough, an author writes as we ourselves have done now and then. Here is a situation where you should use method X, and all that gets quoted is use method X. I mean, uh, clearly, clearly said CVSM community, it is all too tempting to return fire and make broad claims for PLS-SEM. So we think it is best to leave such snipping to think-skinned politicians and encourage researchers and consider the entirely the research process. So means if you are giving good data, so if you are putting bad data, so bad output, good data, and good output. So that entirely depends upon your sample size, your data, and all these things. So I hope this video would be helpful to you. Please follow this paper, and I'm sure most of the answers you can get it in this paper. Thank you. Stay tuned and keep watching.